Today we're going to do lesson 2.4, which are matrices. And what matrices are is they are just a way to organize data or numbers that you may have, okay? So what I know about a matrix, and I want you to write this statement down right here in green. Okay, you don't need to write down the actual brackets and everything, but write this statement down. You can only add or subtract matrices with the same amount of rows and the same amount of columns, okay? Think about it this way. Columns go straight up and down. Think about the columns of a house, straight up and down. So these would be my columns here. I have 2 columns in the first one, 2 columns in the second one. Then rows go left to right. Think about when you're seating. In a row, it goes from left to right. So we've got 3 rows in the first matrix and 3 rows in the second matrix. So I know they have exactly the same amount of columns, exactly the same amount of rows, so I can add their numbers together. However, look at the matrices on the bottom. I've got 2 columns here, 2 columns here, so I know, okay, those match up. But in this one I have 2 rows, and this one I have 3 rows. So what that means is I cannot add them. They don't have the same amount of data, so there would be nothing I could do to those bottom matrices, okay? And when you're talking about one of these brackets singularly, it's called a matrix. When you're talking about more than one of them, they're called matrices, okay? So what we're going to be doing with these are adding and subtracting the numbers that are in there, okay? So let's look at this first example here. Go ahead and write the numbers down that are in the brackets. So for this first one, what they want us to do is they want us to add these 2 matrices together. So in order to do that, what you do is I take the numbers that are in the same position on each matrix. So if the number's in the first position, it's going to be added, or whatever sign is in the middle, with the other number in the first position. Okay, and this is how we do this. I would write another matrix here, and I'm going to write 3 plus -3. Those are the numbers in my first position. Then we need to add the numbers in the second position, which is -1 plus, I always keep that plus sign because it's right in the middle, +1. Then you're going to do the same thing for every number. 0 plus 6. And we go down to the second row, do the same thing. 2 plus 2. Then we're going to do 1 plus 0. And lastly, -5 plus -8. Now, all I got to do is add these together, and that is my answer. Okay? What is 3 plus -3? 0. What is -1 plus 1? 0. What's 0 plus 6? 6. Okay, what's 2 plus 2? 1 plus 0. -5 plus -8. -13. Perfect, because remember, same signs, add and keep. So I add the numbers together, keep their sign. And this is my answer here. That's all you got to do. So basically what this is they're giving you additional practice for adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. You always want to make sure you are paying attention to your signs. Pay attention to what number you're plugging in, because these are very simple, but people start doing them really quickly and then they mess up. They put the wrong number in, or they put the wrong sign in, and that's how they get these wrong, okay? Careless errors. All right, so on the next one, this is the one that you really have to be careful about. On these matrices, what they want you to do is they want you to subtract, because you got to pay attention to the sign that is in between the 2 matrices. Okay, it's very small, but it is a subtraction sign. So we need to first of all make sure, can I even add these together? Do they have the same amount of rows? Do they have the same amount of columns? Look at these. Do they? Yes, they do. We have 2 columns on each, 3 rows on each. All right? So I'm going to write my new matrix so I can put all the numbers in it. What am I going to subtract first, Katie?
4 minus 0.
Perfect. 4 minus 0. Okay, what's going to come next, Josh? 0 minus 2. What comes next, Alyssa?
3 minus negative 1.
Perfect. Look at what she did. It's a minus sign and I have a negative 1. Okay? There should be a red flag going off in your head saying, I know what I've got to do that. We'll do that next. Now what would I do, Taylor? Not 3 minus 1. We already did 3 minus negative 1. We're on this position right here. 4 minus 1. Perfect. Okay? Next one, Hunter, what would I do? Very good. Negative 3 minus 3. And Angelica, what would my last one be? Perfect. Negative 2 minus negative 1. Okay? So you should see some things that we have got to change. Zach, what is one of those things I've got to change? See something side by side that needs to be changed? Kyle, can you help him out?
Okay, the 4 minus negative 1 needs to be a plus.
You mean 3 minus negative 1, right? Yes, exactly. 2 negative signs side by side need to be a positive. So, is there anywhere else that you see that needs to be changed? Josh? Exactly, right here. Okay, now let's just add our numbers together. All right, what is 4 minus 0? 4. What's 0 minus 2? Negative 2. Very good. Different signs because 0 is 0. And subtract and take. Okay, 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. Negative 3 minus 3. What would that be? Negative 6. Because look, same signs, add and keep. Don't get thrown off by the fact that you read it negative 3 minus 3. Because that minus sign is really 3 sign. Same sign, so I add the numbers together and keep it. Alright? Then negative 2 plus 1 is what? Negative 1. Okay? Different signs, subtract and take. Alright? So, that's how you would do matrices. Adding and subtracting matrices.